Last El Nino phenomenon resulted in flash floods, devastating landslides, building collapsing, the tragic loss of lives and food insecurity. There is therefore an urgent need for the country to put in place proper mechanism to mitigate the devastating effects of heavy rains in order to capitalize on the expected El Nino season of plenty rainfall to address the long-standing issue of drought in the country. Honorable Speaker, with this background, it is necessary that the government, through the relevant ministries, puts in place mechanisms for disseminating early warning systems to vulnerable communities, ensuring timely access of information and sensitizing citizens on best preparedness measures to respond to the effects of El Nino. Further, the government ought to develop and communicate clear action plans to forestall the devastating effects of El Nino on communities in high-risk areas, as was witnessed in 1997-1998, including emergency relief, support and protection of citizens during the phenomenon. Most importantly, I urge the government to develop and implement strategies for harnessing the excess rainwater, for supporting long-term drought mitigation that includes using the water to implement programs in agriculture and afforestation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Donya. Member for Marakwet County. I know that 3 members have asked to comment on this El Nino issue. I'll come back to that. Marakwet. Member for Marakwet County, Caroline Ngelechei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 259D 2B to notify the House of the great achievement in the past few weeks of Mr. Kevin Kiptum, a Kenyan marathoner. Honorable Speaker, on Sunday, 8th October 2023, Mr. Kevin Kiptum participated in the Chicago Marathon 2023 competition, where he showed exceptional performance. He broke the world record to become the fastest marathoner in the world with a new time of 2 hours and 35 seconds. The world record was previously held by the seasoned marathoner champion, Mr. Eliud Kipchoge, who is now the second fastest marathoner in the world from Nandi County, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Kiptum debuted his marathon career in 2022 during the Valencia Marathon League in December 2022, where he finished with a record time of 2 hours, 1 minute and 53 seconds. He followed it up with the second fastest marathon of 2 hours, 1 minute and 25 seconds during the 2023 London Marathon, displaying his steadfast commitment and hard work despite the rainy weather condition at the time of the competition. Mr. Speaker, it is good to note that this exceptional performance is just within 1 year, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Kiptum's achievement has demonstrated the possibility of setting a record of sub 2 hours run, and we celebrate his tenacity and dedication. His career trajectory is set with possibilities of achieving much greater records in the near future and serves as an inspiration to many budding athletics. It is also cemented Kenya's dominance in the world of athletics, particularly in marathon, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is on this basis that I wish to notify the House of the outstanding achievement of our very own Kevin Kiptum, who is also a resident of Elgeyo Marakwet County, a village called Chepsamo in Keyo South constituency, Mr. Speaker, that the tribute of the House be recorded in his honor in this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. It's so ordered, and congratulations to him. Thank you. Member for Kajiado North, Onesimus Ngogoyo.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise under the provision of Standing Order 259D to report the demise of the late Honorable Philip Ooy, former Member of Parliament, Kajiado North constituency, which then was Kajiado East, Kajiado West, and the current Kajiado North, who passed on the 5th of October 2023 at MP Shah Hospital while undergoing treatment. Mr. Speaker, in 1983, the Honorable Philip Ooy vied for the Kajiado North constituency seat for the first time and won, and thereby serving the term of the 5th Parliament. On the 15th of August, he was appointed as an Assistant Minister for Finance and Planning, later served underwater. He was an astute legislator who contributed to Parliament and committees, and the plenary were invaluable, and his colleagues held him in high esteem. The late Philip Ooy later left politics, the politics arena, and went to the management of different companies in Naivasha, and later businesses in Kiserian. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, in the death we celebrate a life of a well-respected leader and a successful farmer who laid the foundation of dairy farming in Kiserian town, which is my hometown, and Kajiado North constituency. On my own behalf, and indeed the behalf of the people of Kajiado North, I wish to extend my deepest condolences to the family and friends for the loss of this remarkable leader. Through you, Honorable Speaker, and I wish to thank you for your personal support and the support that you have provided to this family. I beseech the leadership of this House to find it appropriate to mobilize members in this House and by extension government to step in and assist the bereaved family and accord the departed colleague a decent send-off. Mr. Speaker, it is worth noting that he stopped being a member of Parliament in the year which I was born, and therefore is a great leader who served Kajiado North constituency in a very great way. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Kajiado North constituency, I wish to say pole to the family of the late Philip Ooy.
Thank you, Honorable Ngogoyo. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I'll go back to Aduma Owor.
Speaker, may I use?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 43-1, I rise to make a general statement.
Apologize to the House for coming late.
Thank you,
We called you out earlier.
Mr. Speaker. I wish to apologize. I was engaged in a committee meeting where you had given authority to proceed beyond 2:30 with the Minister for Interior, which meeting is still going on, so I want to apologize for being late. Having done that, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 43-1, I rise to make a general statement regarding the unfolding spate of insecurity and reported clashes in Sondu along Kisumu-Kericho border. Honorable Speaker, Article 238(1) of the Constitution envisages national security as the protection against internal and external threats to Kenya's territorial integrity and sovereignty, its people, their rights, freedom, property, peace, stability, and prosperity, and other national interests. In spite of the clear constitutional safeguards for these rights and the obligation on the National Police Service to guarantee security for enjoyment of those rights and freedoms, they are systematically being taken away from members of the specific communities living along Sondu, along Kisumu-Kericho border. Honorable Speaker, in the course of this month, gangs have been attacking residents of Sondu and causing a trail of deaths, injuries, displacement of residents, and distressing women and school-going children. It is of great concern that the situation is crippling lining in the area, as one teacher was killed among 18 other residents, and fearful residents have fled the area due to insecurity. There are also reported cases of cattle rustling, and the business climate has significantly dwindled for fear of such attacks. Honorable Speaker, when the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration visited Sondu on 15th July this year, he promised to establish the real cause of the conflict and appeal for calm and an immediate ceasefire. Yet, even as recent as 2 weeks ago, That is to say, on 24th of September and on 4th of October, civilians living and doing business in Sondu remain vulnerable to attacks from organized groups from across the border, in what happens to be a clear case of organized crime. Honorable Speaker, there is an urgent need for the security agencies to move with speed to arrest the situation and restore peace and normalcy in the area. I therefore implore the government to formulate measures and strategies, including posting enough security agencies in the area to permanently curb further cross-border attacks. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I thank you for the patience and time.
Thank you, Honorable Aduma. Yes, Jared. What's out of order?
Honorable Speaker, allow me to join my brother, Honorable Aduma, in condemning in the strongest terms possible the chaos around Sondu. We have since lost 20 people in this, what may pass for ethnic cleansing, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Aduma may not fully exhaust the happenings on the ground, but we know that there is a section within the warring factions that enjoy police protection even as they unleash terror on the lives of innocent people in Nyakach. Honorable Speaker, these are people who have lived cordially since time immemorial, and therefore the upsurge of discord and chaos and deaths that are totally unwarranted should be addressed wholesomely by the government, Honorable Speaker. The police needs to be mobilized, to be on the ground, and not to take sides, but treat both people from Sondu, Nyakach, and the part of Kericho County equally, because that is the only way that we are going to address this. And finally, Honorable Speaker, through your indulgence, the political leadership many a times tend to be the lowest hanging fruit in handling issues of ethnic divisions. And I implore upon you that the governor of Kericho, the governor of Kisumu, the elected leaders should hold a public baraza in Sondu Market and pump a lot of sense in our people. The impotence of working as a one unitary society, because we have always lived cordially since time immemorial, Honorable Speaker, and try to address this thing once and for all. Otherwise, when the security apparatus take sides in a matter such as this...
Jared, you've made your point. Thank you. Thank you. Before I call the majority leader to make his statement, allow me, honorable members, to acknowledge in the speakers and public galleries Kiamutira Secondary School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga, Naigera Secondary School from Laikipia West, Laikipia, Kawauni Secondary School from Kangundo, Machakos, Kalama Secondary School, Machakos Town, Machakos, Malili Township Primary School from Kilome, Makueni, Earth River Secondary School from Mavoko, Machakos. On your behalf and on my own behalf, I welcome the students and the teachers accompanying them to the House of Parliament. I've been asked by 2 members, 3 in fact. I'll give them a minute each, starting with the member for Laikipia West. 1 minute, boss. Honorable member, the mic is next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome all our students who have visited Kenya National Assembly today, among them Naigera Secondary School from my constituency of Laikipia West. May I also say, Mr. Speaker, I have a program where I facilitate Form 4 candidates to visit, among others, Parliament, Museum of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. so that
Thank you.
they
Your
can be
minute is
voted.
over.
Thank you very much.
Patrick Macau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to welcome the River High School in the House. Mr. Speaker, this is the best school in Mavoko with a mean score of about 7. Mr. Speaker, they are accompanied by their principal, Mr. Kariuki, and their 10 teachers. Mr. Speaker, yes, I'm aware Kenyan students are going to sit for their KCSE examination. May I also take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to wish them all the best in their exams. And I want to promise them I'll work with them all the journey, and I wish them all the best in their exams. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Kirinyaga. GK, is he here?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to comment on the El Nino issues. Honorable Speaker.
Not you yet. I call the member for Kirinyaga Central. Hold your horses. GK, I'll call you later. Go ahead. Can you give him another mic?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome students from Kiboro Secondary School in Dia constituency. Honorable Speaker, Kiboro Secondary School has a student population of about 80 boys and 80 girls. And Honorable Speaker, it's one of the best schools in my constituency. Honorable Speaker, not trying to steal the show from my female colleagues who have been campaigning and agitating for the girl child to be supported to stay in school even during her menstrual cycle days. I have today, Honorable Speaker, donated 80 sanitary pads per student of Kiboro Girls Secondary School, and I am reliably informed by my female colleagues that, including Madam Jerry here from Kirinyaga, that with 80 sanitary pads, that girl will stay in school for the next 12 months. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Jerry, now you can have a minute to comment on El Nino.
Honorable Speaker, thank you once again. GK is indeed my MP. Honorable Speaker, I would like to comment on El Nino matters. As the national government prepares to fund the same, I note that the Council of Governors has said that Treasury has not given them that 5 billion or rather release the funds so that they can ensure that they mitigate the effects of El Nino. Honorable Speaker, I note that Kirinyaga County is one of the counties that has adverse effects when it comes to El Nino. I am requesting that as leaders and as the government pushes for mitigation, we ensure that we encourage and fund rain harvesting. We also reinforce the existing infrastructure and protect it from the adverse effects of El Nino, that we provide our people with the proper public awareness campaigns so that they can be well informed, expand on social protection mechanisms, and equip our health facilities, because with El Nino comes the risk of malaria and other waterborne diseases. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm also requesting that the Majority Leader updates the House on the issue of sanitary towels, the whereabouts of the 940 million.
Order,
and
Jerry, order. You are exceeding the authority given to you. Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze pia kumpa dada yangu Donya support upande wa mgao wa El Nino. Ni dhahiri kuwa Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaelekea kwenye msimu wa mvua, msimu ambao familia nyingi sahihi hawana amani, hawana furaha. Na nikizungumza kuhusu kaunti yangu ya Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wengi huathirika sana na mafuriko ya El Nino. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ningeomba serikali, na miaka nenda miaka rudi, Mombasa hatujawahi kupata system mgao wa kuweza kumanage zile effects za El Nino. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wamehangaika, wanapata mafuriko, nyumba zao zinabomoka, inabidi kama mama county niingie mfukoni kuangalia mapeni kuwasaidia. Mheshimiwa Spika, inatamausha wakati ambapo kuna bajeti ambayo imepitishwa ya kuweza kuwasaidia hawa watu. Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba serikali iangalie kwa usawa kaunti zote ikiwemo kaunti ya Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you. You've made your point. Lastly, Mohammed Abdul. 1 minute, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Disaster preparedness and mitigation has never been a point of strength for this country. And remembering the experience of the 1997-98 El Nino phenomenon, I am actually really scared about how prepared we are in mitigating the disaster that comes with this kind of weather phenomenon. I remember the rains lasted from May 2007 to February 2008, and in between then, so many places were marooned, floods cut off villages and towns, and there was a lot of suffering. And I pray that this time round, given the experience we've had with that weather phenomenon, the El Nino weather phenomenon of 1997-98, that we get ready and ensure that we are stocked up enough to fight off diseases like malaria and also diseases that affect both livestock and human beings, like the Rift Valley weather phenomenon. Thank you.
You made your point. I had allowed only 3 members, honorable members, and now I see a lot of hands up. I'll give the chairman of agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to just contribute to this
Dr. Mtunga.
issue of disaster, El Nino. Honorable Speaker, sometimes I marvel when we look at El Nino as just a source of disadvantage or a disaster in this country, instead of seeing El Nino as an opportunity. Kenya is majorly a dry country. 80% of this country is asal. And there will be rainfall everywhere. What we've never done as a country is try to contain this water for use thereafter, or to recharge the underground water aquifers. The problem we have, Honorable Speaker, is that there is no investment in that direction. There is no serious concern. This water carries away our soil, the topsoil, which is important for crop production, and we could use it to recharge the areas that used to be the water basins. Honorable Speaker, we need to focus in that direction as a country.
Thank you. Member for Kamukunji, 1 minute. You'll be the last on that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wanted to add my voice to the concerns.
Aims to stimulate increased revenue collection by public health facilities, significantly contributing to the realization of the universal health coverage target on expenditure and on healthcare infrastructure throughout the country. Honorable Speaker, with the enactment and possible approval of this bill, Honorable Speaker, the healthcare facilities right from the village dispensaries will not only enjoy financial autonomy and managerial autonomy in their management, but also will have a stimulated sense of revenue collection, and they will be able also to retain part of the revenue that they generate at the local level to enable them to provide services and more efficient services to the people that they serve in the localities. This bill, Honorable Speaker, also ring fences money that is generated by public health facilities. As I said, ensuring that there is a predictable and regular and steady source of funding for public health facility operations in the counties. And Honorable Speaker, you know, the problem that has bedeviled many of our healthcare facilities, and many members who have health centers, both at level 2, level 3 health centers, know that many of them will even charge user fees. They will charge a little bit of consultation fees, but all this money previously has been going to the county revenue accounts and not getting back to these facilities. And with this bill, or with the enactment of this bill, this money will now be ring-fenced, that a facility that has collected money at that level will be able to have part of that money retained at the local level to ensure that they are able probably even to buy certain basic medical, either medical pharmaceutical equipment or non-pharmaceutical equipment or pharmaceuticals, Honorable Speaker, to be able to ensure that their clients or their patients who they are attending to are attended to with all requisite equipment and pharmaceuticals available at that local level. And the problem, Honorable Speaker, has been that facilities having to wait for either the county governments at the county headquarters to send them back money to buy even basic things like bandages, or even cleaning equipment, or even gloves. Honorable Speaker, you remember during COVID, many facilities in our local areas could not even access gloves or even face masks, Honorable Speaker, for people who were being exposed to the vagaries of being infected with the COVID pandemic. And now, Honorable Speaker, with the enactment of this bill, facilities, medical care facilities, with the monies that they retain, they will be able to have that managerial and financial autonomy to ensure that a medical superintendent or a medical officer who has been appointed as an AIE holder at that local dispensary is able to incur expenditure and procure for whatever they need to be able to ensure that indeed universal health coverage becomes a reality and we improve on affordable health care being available to our people. Honorable Speaker, other objects of this bill, Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, is to provide an efficient, secure, and accountable mechanism for the collection, the retention, and management of revenue derived from health services rendered at public health facilities in Kenya. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I don't think I need to overemphasize that. It's just what I was explaining, that the facilities will efficiently secure, collect revenue, and they will be able to manage that revenue themselves at that local level. Two, Honorable Speaker, is to establish a governance framework that will facilitate effective planning, coordination, mobilization, and access of public health facilities improvement financing in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned, because of the challenges with healthcare facilities accessing funds, either funds being appropriated at the national level or even at the county government level, they have not been able to have a very good governance framework, and now they will be able to do that with the enactment of this bill. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, is to provide for the appropriation, management, and use of retained health services revenue to supplement operations and facilitate quality service delivery in public health facilities. Honorable Speaker, as I had said, that they will now be able, money that has been appropriated to these healthcare facilities will be able to be retained there, and they will be able to supplement on operations and facilitate the quality provision of affordable and quality healthcare services to patients or to members of the public. Fourthly, Honorable Speaker, is to promote equitable health facilities improvement financing, including benefit sharing in accordance with the relevant laws of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, you are aware that many facilities across our country do not enjoy the same level of equitable share of resources. And with this particular bill, Honorable Speaker, we shall be promoting an equitable health facilities improvement financing, where all facilities with the ability to generate revenue are able to retain their revenue and be able to manage the kind of medical care services that they give to the public at their local level. Honorable Speaker, this bill will, in the fifth instance, provide for a unified system to guide financial management in public health facilities, improving efficiency and effectiveness and ultimately quality health service delivery. Honorable Speaker, this unified system will be across the country, and it will not matter whether it is a health facility in Elwak, or a health facility in Karachuonyo, or a health facility in Deya in Kikuyu, or even one in Mukurweini in Nyeri, or one in Shinyalu constituency. Honorable Speaker, all our healthcare facilities will have the same architecture in terms of their financial management of how they are financed and how they are managed, Honorable Speaker. This bill will also empower our local communities, Honorable Speaker, because there will be management boards and management committees that you manage local hospitals at the local level. And therefore, people will have some sense of ownership of the facilities that are in their neighborhoods, and ensuring that there is also accountability and transparency in how we not only finance but manage our own healthcare facilities. Honorable Speaker, the bill also makes provision for the retention, as I said, of public health facilities, improvement financing, as well as the purposes for which this retained finances will be utilized. And the bill, Honorable Speaker, when members peruse through, we'll be able to see that the bill is providing not just on how much you can retain and how these facilities will be able to retain part of the revenues they raise, either in own source revenue or what has been appropriated by the county governments, or even from grants and donations or gifts, but also for what purposes can health care facilities utilize the monies or the funds that they have retained at that local level. Again, as I mentioned, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that there is a lot of transparency and accountability to ensure that those officers who will be designated by the chief officers in charge of healthcare at the county level, who are the accounting officers for these healthcare facilities. And because the bill also gives the chief officers at the county level powers to designate certain officers as AIE holders, or to have the authority to incur expenditure at that local level, be it a medical superintendent or whatever level of health officer is charged with that responsibility to incur expenditure, that they do so in a manner that is accountable, and they know by law what is it that you can utilize this money for, so that we don't have instances, as has been happening, Honorable Speaker, where money is collected from our healthcare facilities, and instead of this money being plowed back to improve on healthcare provision at the local level, this money is diverted to go and construct roads. Other money is diverted to go and provide bursaries to school children. Honorable Speaker, it will now be imperative that even at that local level, the officer in charge, who is an AIE holder, knows by law what is it that I can utilize this money for. And therefore, they will not use the money for gardening and construction of hospital gates when the hospital wards are in deplorable states, or there is no medicine in the healthcare facilities. Honorable Speaker, lastly, this bill, because I don't want to go into all the provisions, this bill has close to 27 clauses, but the last part, part 3, is the role of the national government, and that's what this bill speaks to, in terms of the national government's role in policy formulation, research and development of to improvement financing. And the Cabinet Secretary has been given certain key responsibilities, and in terms of developing policy guidelines, how the facilities will be able to account for the money that they generate in a more transparent and accountable manner, use it prudently, how they collect, receive, collect, and also analyze data for facility improvement financing, policy formulation and support, Honorable Speaker, so that at the ministerial level, the minister will be able to formulate policy on how government can be able to collect information, receive and collect data, or even analyze such data as to how government can help the counties to improve on their facilities financing. And Honorable Speaker, of course, Honorable Speaker, amongst all the other provisions which I don't need to go through in the bill, or other responsibilities of the Cabinet Secretary in terms of formulating policies, because we know, Honorable Speaker, that healthcare is a devolved function, and that is why, in recognition of that particular fact, that the healthcare provision is a devolved function under Schedule 4 of our Constitution, most of the policy formulation work is being left to the minister at the national level. But in terms of management of the lower level facilities, that will be done at the facility level, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me not go through all the provisions, but encourage members that this is indeed part of the health care amendment bills, the 4 bills that I mentioned, that will be a game changer in how we manage healthcare facilities in our country, and how we actualize universal health coverage to millions of our people who have suffered over the years due to lack of accessible, affordable, and quality health care. That finally, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to crack what has escaped us for many years in terms of provision of universal health coverage and towards realization of Article 43(1) on provision of affordable, easily accessible, quality health care for millions of our people. And I want to believe, Honorable Speaker, that all of us will now rise to the occasion, support these bills, this together with the primary health care bill that is also listed as order number 14, Honorable Speaker, together with the two other bills that emanated from this House and that have been considered in the Senate, will be that game changer that will make sure that we completely change the architecture of how we manage and provide health care to millions of our people. And Honorable Speaker, as I said, as I moved the other two bills, Honorable Speaker, many members of this House and indeed even in the Senate, and even our governors and MCAs will tell you that one of, other than education, the second is actually the primary burden to millions of our people in our constituencies is the cost of health care. And Honorable Speaker, if we are able to deal with effectively with the cost of health care so that our people are able to access affordable and quality health care at the local level, Honorable Speaker, we will be saving millions of our people from a burden that many families have had to bear with. Many families have been rendered destitute because of healthcare bills and illnesses and sickness in their families. A member of your family falls sick and you simply cannot afford. And Honorable Speaker, even members of parliament, and I know many Kenyans assume members of parliament have all the money to cater for their own healthcare bills, those of their families and their constituents. Honorable Speaker, all these members of parliament here will tell you that every Monday or Friday when they're in their constituencies, the number of fundraisers they are being invited to on account of medical care are unmanageable for them. And members of public, Honorable Speaker, will not even understand that the role of providing health care is now devolved, belongs to the governors and the county governments, and they all walk to offices looking for help. And understandably, Honorable Speaker, Kenyans are desperate for affordable health care, and we cannot afford to finance their health care from our pockets. But by working together collectively as a nation, as leaders, we can be able to enact this kind of laws that will completely change how we manage our healthcare facilities, how we manage our primary health care, how we finance our health care through the social health insurance fund that we approved here the other week, Honorable Speaker, and completely change the architecture of how healthcare is dealt with in this country, and therefore effectively deal with the cost of living. And Honorable Speaker, when you speak about the cost of living, many people assume the cost of living is a matter to do with just food and provision of affordable food. But the cost of healthcare, Honorable Speaker, is a major element in the cost of living. Because if we save Kenyans from the high cost of medical care, Honorable Speaker, they will have higher disposable income available to them to cater for their other needs, be it education or food. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request members to join us or join me and the drafters of this bill in the Ministry of Health, plus the other bills, to bring down the cost of living for millions of our people. Honorable Speaker, with that, I beg for your support, and I beg to move and request the chair of the Health Committee, the Honorable Pukose, to second, as I thank the Honorable Pukose and the Health Committee for the immense work they did to take these bills through public participation in the 7 days that were designated and be able to come up with the report that they tabled this afternoon, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Pukose.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Majority Leader and second this bill, the Facility Improvement Finance Bill 20 number 43 of 2023, let me begin by thanking the members of the Health Committee that I chair for their dedication in preparing and tabling of the committee report on the bill. Honorable Speaker, the government of Kenya has identified healthcare delivery as one of the core pillars of its bottom-up economic transformation agenda. In the plan, a number of commitments have been identified towards the delivery of the universal health care. These interventions include ring-fencing of funds for health care from facility improvement funds to allocations from the National Treasury in collaborations with the county governments. Honorable Speaker, this bill is aligned to this plan and the Kenya Vision 2030, which under the social pillar envisions a nation that is healthy and prosperous. This is because the bill seeks to provide for public health facility improvement financing and the management and administration of facility improvement financing in the country. Honorable Speaker, the bill has 29 clauses which the committee considered clause by clause together with the comments received from several stakeholders, namely the State Department for Medical Services in the Ministry of Health, the County Assemblies Forum, the Council of Governors, and a group of civil society organizations involved in matters of health governance and human rights, comprising of the Kenya Human Rights Commission, the Amnesty International Kenya, the People's Health Movement, the Kenya AIDS NGO Consortium Kango, the Institute of Public Finance, and the Scaling Up Nutrition Civil Society Alliance, the SAN CSA Kenya, who submitted a joint memorandum. Honorable Speaker, prior to its consideration of comments, the committee, through the clerk of the National Assembly, placed an advertisement in the print media on Wednesday, 4th October 2023. The committee also wrote to several institutions requesting for their memoranda on the bill, including the Ministry of Health, the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice, the National Treasury, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, the Office of the Control of Budget, the Kenya Law Reform Commission, the National Health Insurance Fund, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the National Gender Equality Commission, the Commission on Administrative Justice, the Council of Governors, the County Assemblies Forum, the Kenya Medical Association, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, the Consumers Federation of Kenya, the Rural Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, the Kenya AIDS NGOs Consortium, and the Kenya Association of Private Hospitals. Honorable Speaker, the bill is aligned to the Constitution of Kenya 2010 on county funds. The Constitution in Article 207(1) exempts money reasonably excluded by an Act of Parliament from being paid into the County Revenue Fund. In Article 207(4) of the Constitution, further recognizes that an Act of Parliament may provide for the establishment of other funds by counties and the management of those funds respectively. The bill therefore meets this criteria as it makes provision for public health facility improvement financing and details how the same will be retained, managed, and administered to ensure proper utilization of the funds. Honorable Speaker, this bill is aligned to the Health Act number 21 of 2017, which is the primary law on health matters in the country. Section 86(1)(c) of the Health Act 2017 provides that the Ministry of Health shall ensure progressive financial access to universal health coverage through various measures, including developing policies and strategies that ensure the realization of universal health coverage. Honorable Speaker, the bill will therefore stimulate increased revenue collection by public health facilities, significantly contributing to the realization of the universal health coverage, target of augmenting expenditure on healthcare infrastructure throughout the country. This bill is aligned to the Public Finance Management Act number 18 of 2012, which is the primary law on public finance matters in the country. Section 109(2)(b) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 provides that all money is to be paid into the county revenue fund except money that may, in accordance with other legislation, the Act or county legislation, be retained by a county government entity which received it for the purposes of defraying its expenses. Honorable Speaker, the bill aims to ring-fence money generated by public health facilities, ensuring a predictable, regular, and steady source of funding for public health facility operations in counties. This will guarantee that funds are utilized for the improvement of patient care at the respective public health facilities. In doing this, the bill facilitates a realization of Article 431A of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which not only guarantees the right to quality and affordable health care, but also recognizes the role of the government in removing barriers to access to quality and affordable health care. Honorable Speaker, the bill directly responds to the legal intervention proposed by the Departmental Committee on Health in the 12th Parliament in its exit report dated 8 June 2022. In the report, the committee recommended that the Departmental Committee on Health in the 13th Parliament establishes a facility improvement fund for county public health facilities to support health functions that is devolved. Honorable Speaker, public health facilities previously retained and managed the monies they generated. However, the enactment of the Public Finance Management Act number 18 of 2012 took away the financial autonomy of public health facilities to retain, bank, and spend revenues collected from user fees. Section 109 of the Public Finance Management Act number 18 of 2012 provides that all revenue collected by all county government entities is submitted to the county revenue fund, and then these entities will request funds from the county revenue fund. County health facilities now draw funds generated through cash, insurance schemes, and grants from the county revenue fund. This has occasioned numerous bureaucracies and limited funding for public health facilities, as they are usually allocated less monies compared to what they remitted, making them struggle to meet their operation and maintenance costs, which has always adversely affected their service delivery. Honorable Speaker, some counties including Kakamega, Isiolo, Mombasa, and Elgeyo Marakwet, noting the challenges they have faced, have established facilities improvement funds, allowing their public health facilities to manage their funds they generate through health service management committees. Counties that have not established such a fund continue to face several key challenges, including demotivated health workers, delays in service delivery due to procedural difficulties in the procurement of essential supplies, and poor accountability for money generated in public health facilities. Honorable Speaker, the bill gives county governments control over the revenue generated within their health facilities, allowing for enhanced, localized decision-making. Honorable Speaker, county governments will now be able to plan and implement long-term healthcare projects without solely relying on the allocations by the national government, as they will have steady revenue streams for their public health facilities. Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends that the House adopts and passes the Facilities Improvement Finance Bill 2023, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023 without amendments. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I second.
Hello, members. I therefore propose the question that the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, be now read a second time. The Honorable Soro, what's the point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I rise to propose that, considering the interest this matter or this bill has on number of members and they want to contribute, I seek that we reduce the contribution time from 10 to 4 minutes each. They say 5 at least, so that each member gets some quality time to contribute.
Honorable members, Honorable Soro has also insisted and proposed that we reduce time for debating on this bill. That is the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill of 43/2023 from the normal time to 5 minutes per person or per member contributing. Will I put the question that contributions by members to the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43/2023, shall be limited to 5 minutes per member contributing? Will last minute without opinion say aye? Will last minute without opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And honorable members who have put their cards and are not in the house will not, in fact, I wish to ask the clerks, any member who has put their cards in the house, we drop them so that we have a chance to, because I don't want them coming back to, disturb us once this happens. So the first person on my list is Honorable Wilberforce Owondo Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Indeed, if there is anything, let me echo the sentiment of the majority leader. If there is anything that causes butterflies in our stomachs, are recalls we receive from our constituents concerning medical bill. Any bill or any policy or any administrative action that tends towards addressing this challenge is always welcome, and I urge all our colleagues to support it. Honorable Speaker, Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Bill number 43 of 2023, is an important bill. General Honorable Speaker, many times when you go to health facilities of whichever level in our constituencies, you are always told we are unable to provide services, we are unable to provide drugs, we are unable to provide even basics like gloves, reagents for testing, because we have no money. Because all the money they collect as user charges ends up in the county revenue account, and the county revenue account does not ring fence that particular funds, ends up using it for some other places. And therefore you find the most hospitals, be it health centers, clinics, or whatever we categorize them, are perpetually suffering because they are unable to access the money they have generated. So therefore, this amendment or this new act, Honorable Speaker, will go a long way in trying to solve this problem. And as I will mention going forward, we require a little more amendments to this act to speak to the reality on the ground and to ensure the question of pilferage, the question of loss of funds does not become endemic as has happened elsewhere. Honorable Speaker, when you look at this bill, has got various proposals. And unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, it limits. This bill shall only, this act, when it becomes an act, shall only apply to level 1 to level 5 public health facilities. So it means referral hospitals at the national level are excluded. And I would have also thought, Honorable Speaker, that yes, this bill applies to that, public facilities. Why can't we also find a mechanism of roping in some public facility, private facilities that are more or less like community run, like mission hospitals, like hospitals started by the community, so that we see how we can also have uniformity of services. Honorable Speaker, it proposes under clause 5.4, it proposes that to retain all receivables by the public health facility shall be considered as a supplement. And this is an important point, and I hope the chair, we need to put it very clear that there is no way that the county government will deny a health facility funds through the appropriation bill, counter appropriation bill, simply because whatever they expect to collect could be enough to run based on their budget. And that's why I like the clause 5, subclause 4, that actually enforces the county government to continue funding these hospitals. Honorable Speaker, because of time, the other question that we need to be very clear is the disbursement from insurance firms or other relevant entities. Will that funds go direct to the health facility, or again it will go through the long route of county revenue account? We need to be very clear so that if, for example, we are still working with NHIF, for example, if somebody went to Seaport Health Center, was treated and charged on NHIF, will that amount go to Seaport Health Center, or will it go first of all to Busia County and then be disbursed to Seaport Health Center? If that remains the case, then that money will never get there. Honorable Speaker, the other issue that we need to be alive to, and we need to, is the management, which we are talking about: county health management team, hospital management team, and then health facility management team. The county health management facility team, county health management team is dominated by the technocrats, is dominated naturally by the doctors.
The Honorable John Mutunga.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. Honourable Speaker, the cost of health care is punitive, especially to those holding elective offices in this country. If there is any mechanism to relieve such costs to such people, I think it will be most welcome. That's why at this point in time, this bill comes in to really realize the universal health care. Honourable Speaker, if you look at a vehicle, for instance, if the engine is not working, or the bearings within the engine are not working, then of course the entire vehicle will not work effectively and efficiently. So having the small units out there operational and responding to the needs of the people, it means the entire system won't be a reality, and that is why we say that universal health care is going to be a reality in this country. Honourable Speaker, this bill provides for prudential management of resources, especially the financial resources. It more or less creates these institutions as more semi-autonomous government agencies. And that will help them now to manage their needs and to plan in a way that they can be able to know what needs they should adopt a planning trajectory that basically enables them to predict what to put in the plan and basically fund that. It's an essential component of this particular bill which will help the health facilities to operate. Honourable Speaker, the greatest problem we have is not just non-performing facilities, it is also the stocking of these facilities or provision of pharmaceutical products. You realize that most of the times people get prescription from the hospitals or from the health centers and the dispensaries, and then they end up buying their medicine from the stores. This is again punitive, it is expensive for most of the Kenyans, and most of the Kenyans do not really have a means of, income to be able to be buying from the pharmaceutical companies or to be buying from the pharmacies, and therefore it will help in a great deal. Honourable Speaker, the cost of medical services is punitive to every Kenyan, not just those who are sick. Every village, every weekend, there is a harambe to meet the cost of medical care. And we have complication of the diseases with time. The universal health care component, as a part of the delivery process of the Kenya Kwanza government, has brought in a great achievement, first of all in identification of what kind of illnesses one has, and the initial response in terms of determining what kind of medical care one requires. Making these facilities operate means we are going to relieve the referral and bigger hospitals, the amount of work that they have to do, the populations that they have to handle on a specific day, the demands that they have for the machines, and even for the doctors or physicians, and that will make the entire system efficient. It will make the system work and make the entire hospital system function better. Honourable Speaker, as we look at the bill, there are several issues that we need to debate as a House and think through how we are going to focus on them. These units have been getting some support from various sources. This unit did not have probably the possibility to get support from other well-wishers or donors. I think we need to incorporate that as a source of revenue for this unit, because if somebody is willing to support a medical unit somewhere within the boundaries of Kenya, they should be allowed to do so. We should also allow them to fundraise in various ways to be able to get the medical services moving on well. Honourable Speaker, I want to conclude by exercising some caution on some issues. Caution on financial management is important. Caution on the supply of pharmaceuticals has been an issue in this particular country. As they manage this unit, we need them retrained and learned and then learned on how to do it. Also, caution on making sure that the facilities really are clean and efficient in terms of receiving the patients. Some of these facilities may be a source of infection, as it were, because they are really in a dilapidated state. And finally, the issue of occupancy in terms of managing how many people you can have at any one given time. Honourable Speaker, I have been a victim one time. I had an accident in Tanzania, and I was put with some other people on the same bed who had worse illnesses than I had, and ended up getting an infection from a hospital facility. So it is going to be better for us to have these facilities run in a more efficient manner. Also determining what services to be given at whatever point in time and whichever section it is, and the co-location arrangement of the entire.
Thank you, Deputy Minority Leader. Member for Gathiani.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this chance. Mr. Speaker, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, and Kenya has been grappling with the issue of universal health care. In fact, all the way since our independence 60 years ago. And Mr. Speaker, you remember at the beginning, our founder fathers were talking about the eradication of poverty, ignorance, and disease. And so many years later, we still have rampant poverty, we still have ignorance, and diseases are still ravaging this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, when I look at this bill, I can see we are almost getting there. I was concerned at the beginning because I had thought that this bill is simply dealing with the issue of people paying monies into our health centers and then retaining the money. But when I read clearly, I realized that Clause 6 does actually recognize that the reimbursements may come also from insurance, which is where we are headed because of the Social Health Insurance Fund. Because in future, we are not supposed to be going to health centers carrying money. But, Mr. Speaker, it's also good to note that health is devolved, and since 2013, health is in the hands of the governors and the county governments. But not all governors and not all counties prioritize healthcare. Mr. Speaker, and that is why you see, even when the budgets of counties are passed and you scrutinize them, you'll be surprised the kind of money that is kept for health compared to other facilities. I mean, some counties will even put infrastructure way ahead of healthcare, which is unfortunate because the idea of devolution was to take services closer to the people. And the services that they really require are to be healthy so that they can be able to work and make an income for themselves. Mr. Speaker, as a result of this lack of serious dedication by some of our counties, you find that healthcare in some counties is in deplorable state. Some of my members have said you go to health centers, there's no medicine, there are no bandages, there are no gloves, there's no x-ray or any other equipment working. And further to that, Mr. Speaker, you notice the grounds in some of our health facilities are totally unkempt. In fact, some of them are breeding grounds for mosquitoes and other pests. Waste is poorly managed, and you know, like in places where we have maternities, you require to have proper incinerators. And they don't, some of them have capacity to be able to dispose of these waste properly, which again becomes quite a health hazard. Mr. Speaker, I am aware of some health centers where electricity bills have piled to the level where Kenya Power and Lighting have to disconnect them. We also have others where water bills have also increased to such a level that they cannot be managed, so they're being disconnected. It's very unfortunate, and that's why I think this bill comes to solve the basic problems that we are facing in our health, by health providers. Mr. Speaker, it authorizes that the health facilities be able to collect money and retain it. That is under Clause 5. And then it proposes that there is authority to incur expenditure be vested in the management teams in those centers, and that is also in clause 21. Basically, that will ensure that there is money in these centers to be able to run those basic affairs and those minor things that have been facing them and the problems that have been there. But Mr. Speaker, as I finish, I wanted to say that we have to be very, very careful when we are dealing with issues of financial management, because here we are talking about authorizing a team in the health facility to be able to receive money, retain it, and spend it. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to issues to do with expenditure, there's all these issues, the laws on public procurement and asset disposal. Mr. Speaker, we have to be very careful that those people in those centers, those management teams, are properly guided so that we do not end up devolving corruption from our CECs to the management teams. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I do support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to support this. I must support it. This is a bill we did in 2005. Then when devolution came, we put it aside. I'm happy it has come back today, only recognizing that there's devolution. I can tell you, health was more devolved before devolution than it is now. And this bill, Mr. Speaker, I support it because it does just that. It actually devolves health much further. The main objective of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is to actually ring fence the money for the health sector. Because at the county level, there are so many competing needs, so that even if money is put in the budget for health, at the time of payment, it actually does not go to health. It will go to other needs, roads, and so on. This does just that. It ring fences. If you look at clause 5, it actually states very clearly, there shall be retention of all monies raised and received on behalf of all public health facilities. There shall be opened a facility improvement financing account for each health facility, and that is crux of the matter. That account used to exist until the county revenue, the account for the revenue for the account came into place. And then if you look at clause 6, Mr. Speaker, it's on the sources of revenue and other receivables for public health facilities improvement fund will include own resource revenues that include monies received as user fees, charges, and monies, and so on, including NHIF, particularly if we use capitation at health center and dispensary level. And then B, money appropriated by the county. What it means that even the money that comes from the county will actually go to this account. So really you are ring-fencing the money. And any additional, any conditional grants and any donation and gifts. Actually, it was with Danida that we actually fashioned this, because partners wanted to actually give money direct to the health facilities. So now that we are back to this, even donors can give money, partners can give money. The money from the counties will go into this account. And I support it because they have actually done it well. They have actually established a mechanism for the management. Because you see, there is the county health management team, the sub-county health management team that will now actually support level 4, level 3, and level 2. And you have the hospital management team. So there's the sub-county health management team, and then the hospital itself, particularly level 4 and 5, will have the management teams. The only thing that I've seen in those committees that we need to look at is a representation of the community. At that level, I've not seen the representation of the community, and it is necessary. If you go to health facility management team, that is particularly level 2 and level 3. That I find acceptable, very acceptable, because they have actually increased the community. Colleagues, if you think about this thing, it's actually amazing simple. Secondary schools have been managed this way for many, many years. Why do we think that health facilities cannot be managed in this way. Now, what is important is the support they get, and we have fear of actually losing this. But what we did, and what I think they must do now, is put accounting mechanisms for this, so that for level 4 and level 5 can actually have their own accountants. Secondary schools have bazaars. So when you are a level 4, you have a hospital administrator. You can have an accountant there or an accounting officer. Then for level 2 and 3 at the sub-county level, why can't we put an accountant that serves the whole sub-county, even a county, to help these level 2s and level 3s to manage their accounts? Mr. Speaker, this is something that I think will work, because the facilities can manage to purchase the thing and bridge a gap. Like, for example, when KEMS has not brought money, they can use the little money they collect themselves to improve the facilities. The experience
Give PS 1 minute.
The experience we had when we used this, the facilities actually improved. They were cleaner. They bought cleaning materials with this money. And the communities were involved, at least at health center levels, so that the community took an active part in the management of the facilities. And now that we are back to this, the committees are going to be appointed and the communities will be involved. I think it's a good movement in supporting UHC program. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you. The Honorable Martin Wanyonyi. Is the Honorable Deco Dallo in the house? Is that you? This member for Garissa Township, right after the Honorable Martin, right after him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also support this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, in Article 43 of the Constitution, subsection 1, we promise the people of Kenya that we will be able to provide them with the highest standard healthcare, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, when we were devolving functions in our Constitution, we devolved healthcare, Mr. Speaker. But we never supported with the requisite resources in ensure that the Kenyan people are able to access the quality healthcare that was envisioned by the draft of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this particular bill is a solution and is going to finally help the people of Kenya to be able to get healthcare that is quality, that is accessible, and that is diverse, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, for a very long time, we have seen governors, for you to be able to allocate resources for any facility, a dispensary or a health center, to get resources, an MCA or a member of parliament or a MedSoup must be known to the governor. If you are not known to the governor, Mr. Speaker, you will not get resources. Your healthcare or your dispensary will not be funded. But, Mr. Speaker, this particular bill is now going to ensure that it doesn't matter whether you know the governor, you know the deputy governor, or you know the CC finance, your healthcare, your health facility is going to get resources for infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, for a very long time, we have not been able to put in place measures to be able to motivate our people to enhance revenue collection. But, Mr. Speaker, the fact that the resources and the revenue that's going to be collected at the health facility will remain within and be utilized locally is also a mechanism to ensure that health facilities are motivated to continue and enhance revenue collection. So, Mr. Speaker, I really support this particular bill, and also seek that we have had very good measures before. But the biggest problem in the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, remains corruption. We must also go out of our way to ensure that while we work to retain these monies at the health facilities, we must also work around to disrupt, to destroy, and ensure that we complete and remove corruption in management of this particular funding. So, Mr. Speaker, really for me, I support this bill and thank my chairman, Honorable Pokose, and the majority for midwifing this particular bill. And I'm hoping that as we pass it, we will also see that governors, now they will not take advantage of this Facility Improvement Fund, now that is available, for governors to stop supporting health and reallocating money to other things. We must also put governors to task to ensure that they must also continue alongside this particular fund. They should also continue supporting facilities equitably. We've seen governors where, or rather counties where, a governor for 5 years is only supporting a particular hospital or 1 or 2 hospitals at the expense of other facilities. We want to also ensure that while we pass this fund, governors must also continue allocating money across board and equitably among facilities in the respective counties. I support this, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, also for giving me this opportunity. One, the bill as tabled, I see it to help decongest mainly the main referral hospitals and facilities and level 5 hospitals, because as we are now, the situation is that all the health facilities, that is the health center, level 4, 3, and 2, are abandoned because of lack of these facilities on the ground. This bill will support the UHC program. Mr. Speaker, as one of the colleagues have said here, this arrangement worked in the past. And I'm a witness to it that it worked in the past, but was abandoned after the devolution. Now, as it is, those in the villages and down on the ground are all seeking facility or health facility from the main referral hospital or level 5 hospitals. It's as a result, because most of these infrastructures in these local hospitals or village hospitals or village centers, health centers, are not taken care of by the county governments. The county government is mainly concentrating on the referral hospital, and they have abandoned the health centers and the dispensaries on the ground. For a constituency of my constituency, I have launched a NHIF program of up to 1,000 families and households in the villages to the most vulnerable people. And once these funds are retained at the health facilities or health centers, they can also easily improve. The management of those facilities can easily improve and avail medicine at the ground, on the ground. Mr. Speaker, my tour of one of the health facilities, I must commend my county government of one of the facilities. They are piloting now to see whether this program will work. And they have allowed one of the health centers to collect money up to from the patients and also those who have NHIF's cards. And that money is retained there, and it is now working. And for that, I want to say I support this bill, and I believe this is the direction we should take. And this, if we reinforce or ring-fence the management of these funds at the facility level, I believe strongly that as we provide quality health care to our people, this is the way to go. So for those few remarks, I support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm grappling a lot with the orange women high table. I don't know what they're going to do because they are all lined up one after the other. So I'll give two and you share, all of you together. The Honorable, this is the team, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, the Honorable Member for Migori, the member for nominated member, Honorable Zamzam, that orange women, there's a women high table. I'll Honorable Owino, I've not heard from a lady on this particular bill.
I've heard from 6 men already on this particular bill. No single lady so far. So I'll listen to order member for ADVERTISE. I'll listen to, because on the order I have here, I'll listen to the Honorable Catherine Omanyo, then I'll listen to the Honorable Pareyo, then I'll turn it this side again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill has made me smile today because somebody has thought twice. If you look at the health facilities in the villages, first of all, the infrastructure is in question. If a pregnant woman was to be referred to those better facilities from these village ones, they might even prematurely give birth or abort. So if these other branches or smaller health facilities will be well managed, then the services will have moved to the real Wanjiku in the villages, and we will actually be better people in our society, because the basic need, if we cannot have our health sector work, then it means we are having an unhealthy society that cannot produce. And also medicine that has been scarce in most hospitals at the county level, things like gloves, basic things that any nurse or doctor needs, syringes, will be available. That means also the services will be improved, and our people will not be worried anymore. And people will be encouraged to give, to pay, because if the services are available, then they will not be feeling the pain of paying. Today, you can even sell a plot and still not have a doctor in that health facility. But if there is money, that means our doctors will be attracted to work in the county levels, and they will not be looking to go abroad to give their services, but they will be happy to treat people at home. The pay will be there, will not be having strikes all the time. And the gap between the rich and the poor, because sometimes if you don't have money and you are sick, you will start praying and hoping that the disease just disappears because you don't have money. Today, if you went to any facility, money first, then you are paid. But with this kind of arrangement, they will treat you first, and then the other arrangements come forth. So I support the motion, and I think everybody else should support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this bill. This is a bill that touches the people at the grassroots level. And this is a bill that we all need to support, because health is very important to our people. And we all agree that every weekend, every Saturday, you have more than 10 people in your house as an MP who need money because one of their relatives is unable to pay the bills at the hospital. And when this bill is in place, then it means that the health facilities will never miss all the necessary basic things that they need, like the needles, the bandages, and all the medicine that they need. And what makes me happy or support this bill is because the health facilities will be allowed to use the money that they collect to buy the necessary medicine that they need. For this reason, I support, because when this money goes to the county level, this money might not come back to the people, because the county also have their priorities, and could be buying medicine or something for the small health facilities was not a priority for them. They will put the money in their own planned priorities. And for that reason, I support this bill, and I'm asking all the members to support it because it is a very important and a necessary bill that has come at the right time. Thank you.
Soap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand also to support this bill of finance facilities improvement finance bill 2023. Mr. Speaker, it is truly a good bill that is going to make a big difference in our communities and also in our healthcare system in our country. There have been a lot of embezzlement and a lot of corruption in most of the health facilities. And when you go to health facility, you find out that most of these facilities are in bad shape. Not because they wanted to, but because of the way the funds were appropriated. And as such, no funds really was specifically ring-fenced to provide the improvement of facilities in most of the health centers or health facilities. And as such, this bill, Mr. Speaker, is going to bring a big difference because it will ensure that most of the facilities are managed, because it is also providing where that most of the health centers, most of the hospitals, most of the health facilities will have management committee, which its purpose is to manage the facility, its finances, and how the hospital management team will provide how these funds will be managed. And more so, Mr. Speaker, this bill, as it is, as I look at Part 4, management and the administration of the improvement financing. The county executive committee member shall support the implementation of the facility improvement financing by facilitating effective collection and retention of the facility improvement funds. So this particular bill is going to make sure that whatever is collected will not be misappropriated or will not be embezzled, and it will go specifically to the facility itself. One of the biggest, what improves to healing to a patient is how the facility actually looks. If you go to a facility that looks like it's run down, a facility that has even your faith in the doctors and in faith in the medication that you'll be given there will also go down. You don't want to be taken to a place that it looks like a shack. You want to go to a facility that's well maintained, that is clean, well improved, and well managed. So this particular bill, Mr. Speaker, is good bill, and I support it, and I hope that all members will support this bill, and it will go into improving healthcare in our country. I support the bill.
Is the member for Gemba Central in the House? Honorable Daniel Carido. Okay. Member for Bureti.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to support the passing of this bill, the bill that seeks to devolve for true and for the last time the health sector within our country. First, there's been quite a big thing, and the discussion that has been going on in the villages is how health sector has been managed. And to this end, this bill seeks to cure one of the most fundamental things, the sources of funding to the health sector. And the question that we've always had is, why do hospitals generate revenue and yet it does not receive what it has generated out of the funds that they receive from the patients and all those who make gifts towards the hospital? This bill, by allowing the hospitals and the health facilities to be able to retain all the funds that they receive as revenue and as costs that they have incurred in treating the people within those regions, that they may use that for management of those facilities, improvement of those facilities, and providing services within those communities, is something that is the greatest news to me and to the people of Bureti and the county of Kericho and the rest of this nation. Mr. Speaker, it's also good to note that this retaining of these resources does not bar or does not prohibit the county governments from further appropriating funds for the purposes of facilitating growth and improvement of these facilities. With this bill, we will be able to expect, therefore, together with the Kenya Kwanza program that we have in the UHC, which is to be launched in Kericho on the 20th, that we will be able, therefore, to have the comprehensive health mechanism and management from the local level, from the dispensaries to the health facility level 4. And to this end, all our hospitals will be equipped, all our hospitals will be better managed, including the participation of the communities and the diversity of the people that we have within those communities to be able to manage these facilities. This, with the appropriation, with this bill coming through, the diversity of our geography, that there are different regions in this country, handling different diseases, and sometimes even handling different scenarios in medical scheme. Those hospitals near the roads, which receive casualties, and those hospitals which are far removed from the roads, receiving probably preventive and also managing the curative sector of the health sector, will be able actually to receive commensurate towards what the services they offer. I support this bill, Mr. Speaker, because finally health will be devolved, health will be better managed, health within our counties will actually be the thing that we had envisaged as the Kenya Kwanza government. And with the launch of the UHC program, therefore we will see the improvement of all these facilities from level 1 to level 4. With this, I support, Mr. Speaker.
Go to Mombasa, member for Mombasa.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi nataka nichukue fursa hii niweze kuunga mswada ambao umeletwa leo na kiongozi wa wengi katika bunge hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, maradhi yamekuwa donda sugu katika jamii yetu na yamekuwa yakisambaa kwa haraka, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ilikuwa watu wakienda katika hospitali kubwa wakiwa na maradhi yale ya kusambaa haraka, wanaweza kusambaza sehemu kubwa sana katika taifa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Leo mswada huu wa leo umeweza kuwawezesha wale CHP waweze kusaidia watu kutoka katika majumba yao, waweze wakapata msaada ama katika zile hospitali ndogo ndogo ambazo ziko karibu yao, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ndio maana mimi nasema kuwa huduma ikizidi kwenda mashinani, basi napatia serikali wepesi wa kuweza kumudu na kutenda kazi kwa ubora. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni dhahiri shairi kuwa hata watoto wetu ambao wamesomea udaktari waweze wakapata nafasi kule mashinani, ikiwa kama hizi hospitali ndogo ndogo zitawezesha kukusanya mapeni yao ya kuweza kuendeleza shughuli za hospitali, ili wasiweze kuanguka katika mitihani ya kukosa namna ya kuweza kuendeleza hospitali, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo wana haki na usawa wa kuweza kuandika madaktari wao ama wakaweza kuandika nurses wao kule chini, na wakaweza kupatia wananchi huduma kwa wepesi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Ile Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa pia kusema CHV ama CHP wamejitolelea kwa muda mrefu sana, Mheshimiwa Spika. Naomba pia katika mswada huu waweze kukumbukwa ili waweze kupata hata kama ni kitu kidogo cha kuweza kuwapa nguvu ya kuweza kuhudumia wananchi kwa wepesi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Wamejitolelea kwa kuenda katika maradhi mazito. Wakati ule tulikuwa na corona, tuliona CHP ndio wanazunguka katika majumba, Mheshimiwa Spika, na ni haki kwao kuweza kupata hata kama ni kitu kidogo cha kuweza kuwasaidia kusukuma maisha, Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka nimalizie nikisema naunga mswada huu wa leo. Naunga sana kwa mikono yangu yote na kusema ikiwa kuna miswada ambayo imeletwa bungeni, miswada ambayo ni mizuri sana, miswada ambayo inagusa jamii, basi ni mswada huu wa leo wa kuweza kupeleka huduma ya afya chini mashinani kwa wananchi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na mwisho kabisa, kama mama county, naombea taifa la Palestine wapate amani, waweze kukaa kwa amani, na Mwenyezi Mungu awape wepesi kwa mtihani ambao wanafuatia. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante sana. Turudi Nairobi, tuende Dagoretti Kusini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to really support this bill. Mr. Speaker, knowing very well I have been in Senate, and for the first time, I think we have seen a few bills that come from Senate that are bills that are now dealing with issues of counting. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, also to appreciate the strides that we've made as a country, Mr. Speaker. And really, when you look at the 2001, the African Union, the Abuja Declaration, I think that is where we are headed as a country. And really, we must appreciate the strides we've made, knowing very well that it has been so difficult to ensure you have financial